But regardless, Neon, they had a lot of emphasis on giving play hard that Rubik. Like, it was, he had like a, played it in like 19 out of like 22 games in one tournament. They were just, it's such a strong hero for them. But again, I mean, you can't play the Rubik as a 3, so that's not going to happen. So what is this, are you a fan of the Rubik 5? Because I feel like he's kind of just set in stone as a 4.
I am a fan of the Rubik 5 when it's in the right person's hands. I just think it doesn't fit Jaunuel's playstyle as much as someone like Insania. Like, he is the position 5 Rubik. You can pick it up first pick, and I'm just talking about Liquid here. Tiger's also capable of playing it, so the ability to be flexible with where it's laning. The reason why I was raising the opportunity of it being mid is just because it feels like a sort of thing that Yopaj might try and do. It's crazy enough that it might work. You've got some great spells to steal. You can get hyper aggressive super early on. I can't see why it wouldn't work for him. Maybe even go something like a gyrocopter. We're not seeing it all in the meta these days, but why not?
I was going to say, I was thinking of something like a Morphling as well, because whenever you see the Omni Knight, I think we saw yesterday the Morphling to kind of answer with the Omni. The matchup with the Sven is the question, though.
Team pick. I just want something that's going to be able to get aggressive before Sven hits his timings, and I feel like Gyro is something that's capable of doing that with the lower timings on the flak cannon, just being able to use it so much more frequently rather than just solely using it to farm huge stacks and for a big burst of net worth. It's just much more of a brawling style of hero, and it feels like it fits Neon's playstyle a little bit more.
So they're going to pick up the Mars here, which, I mean, the lane with the Iron Mars is pretty strong, and even the Rubik Mars lane as well has got a lot of kill threat. I am kind of intrigued that they picked the Mars into the Omni, because I think any hero with a hard dispel to kind of disrupt this spear combo in the arena really gets rid of a lot of the damage that the Mars can output. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Omni Knight versus the Mars.
It could be a situation where you get a... do you want to get a Blink Dagger if you've got an Io with you as well? I suppose he's not going to be tethered together with him a lot, but if you blink on the Mars and then you just skewer someone back, you're probably not going to have that hard dispel. You're just going to be quite out of range. Heavenly Grace has such a short range that it's going to be pretty difficult, and you never want to put yourself in harm's way as this Pos 5 Omni Knight.
Yeah, definitely. That's a bit of the issue with the cast range as a hero. You can get lucky with some of the neutral items, I guess, is going to be important. They pick up a Void Spirit. I mean, it is into a Rubik. Playing a Spirit hero into an instant stun can always feel a little bit awkward. Although against the Mars matchup, you've got a very easy way to get out of the arena. That Spear's got a projectile and cast animation, so see how it's going to fare. And now the Undying as well. So, well, what's going on here? This is one of either Io, Rubik, or Undying is a core.
Yeah. I told you, Neon. They make this sort of stuff happen.
10 seconds remaining.
I called the Yopaj mid Rubik from the very start, so if that's the way it's going to go down, then
5 seconds remaining.
Very happy with that. But I don't know. It's the sort of thing which it kind of is reminiscent of the way that OG play, right? Like, if this is a 1 IO, then you've got the Undying Soul Rip that's just going to be able to buff him up, as well as whatever they choose to put in the mid lane. Yeah, don't mind the bat either. I suppose IO doesn't really care about turn rate though, so it's one of those heroes that is a micro counter to it, I call it. But it's just so good at creating space, allowing Sven to get those first few items that he needs to come online and just be this unstoppable force.
So what are we thinking here? Is this... I haven't seen Natsumi play Io as a position 1. So what are we thinking? More than likely that it's going to be Rubik mid and looking for their position 1 as the last pick?
Yeah. Could just be something like a bristleback or something like that, and trying to end things super early. Just make him as a beefy frontliner, just constantly run at the enemy team. Batrider does a good amount of damage, but if you're getting healed up from the IO, if you've got the Soul Rip to keep you healthy, if you've got the Tombstone to slow them down, and the Sven can't come online quite quickly enough, then you can just burst them down, and once you've got those Warpath stacks up, it's decent tower taking potential as well. Maybe even going like a Desolator on the Mars instead of your more standard style of builds, just so that you are able to take those towers a little bit more effectively.
Dire team
They
ban.
ban out the end.
Radiant team pick.
Well, Execration, they're looking for a position 4 at the moment here, trying to see what they can play around with the Batrider in the laning stage. You see they get rid of the Tiny and the Earth Spirit, so a lot of just continued aggression where they've already got
Dire
kind of the
team
Void and the
pick.
Bat. They're going to Pango, okay.
What's left?
Well,
Alchemist?
we're about to find out.
Slug.
You
Yep,
may now
Natsumi
select
Slug.
Natsumi,
your
yeah.
heroes.
It's...
So Scam's playing the IO. Yopaj called it! Called it, baby. Let's go.
Well, thinking about it against the Void Spirit, it should have a pretty good time, because, I mean, you're going to get the ability stealing against the Void's really nice. Getting levels as well means, I mean, that Fade Bolt's going to do an immense amount of work. You're going to be able to get high points in telekinesis. And I highlighted that the Rubik is pretty much the hero to deal with the Void Spirit this game. You've got this instant stun in the telekinesis. So if Yopaj gets levels and gets some items like, you know, 8th Lens, Blink, whatever he wants to go for on the mid Rubik, it can make Ken's game a little bit awkward here.
PDZ on the Pango, it's a really nice spell to steal as the Rubik too. Just to get that roll happening to break up the team fight, allow Natsumi to do the work that he needs to, as well as the fact of you've got Rupido playing the Batrider into a Slark. He's got Dark Pact, so that's a good way of just dealing with that lane. So I would have to say this is a draft victory going the way of Neon. Even giving up a Sven Omni Knight, it's pretty hard to say that, but I'm liking it so far. It's putting a lot of pressure on Yopaj and Natsumi, but I think they can do it.
Yeah, well, this is one of Natsumi's best heroes in the Slark. We saw him absolutely thrive on this throughout his previous teams, and you know, it's kind of not really in the meta at the moment, unfortunately for him, but it looks like a beautiful game. I mean, you've got this lane counter and kind of game counter as well with the spell from the Dark Pack, so kind of taking away the effect that the Batrider is able to provide throughout the game. And then also, I mean, I guess take a look, Omni Knight is a hero that really likes to drag out these fights with the the constant kind of sustained purification, Heavenly Grace, and Slark is a hero who just wants to go in and out, stack up the essence. My one question though is, how is the matchup of the Sven versus the Slark going to end up faring?
Sorry, say that one more time.
The
a little bit.
The Sven and the Slark matchup, yeah.
I feel like once the IO starts connecting through and starts having that impact to connect together with the Slark, it's just going to give him that additional boost that he needs. Obviously any sort of hero that benefits from attack speed is going to be pretty damn vital for taking control of this early game. And once you get those essence shift stacks up, it's the sort of thing that Natsumi is hopefully going to be able to take control, and he's going to be able to be given all of the possibilities to do that, with obviously the Undying being able to heal him as well. So again, it's just going to be this massive death ball running at the enemy team. My only concern is, how do you take towers after you win these team fights? I have no worry with them winning team fights. It's just what then happens afterwards.
Yeah, Slark has never been known as a hero who's able to take objectives too well. I guess, I mean, if you got an immense amount of essence and maybe the IO buffing you up, but it's still not going to be something like, this Ven with the God Strength. You're just going to be able to melt down these objectives. And you brought up as well the fact that both these teams, I mean, we got, 10 Filipinos battling it out. And you see just the kind of camaraderie and just the old chat coming through. A lot of these players, we've seen through the group stages so far, everyone, super friendly with the old chat kind of playing around. And especially in this game with Execration vs Neon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how Yopaj's mid Rubik's going to end up faring. I mean, he's already been able to secure the range. Unfortunately, he still does get 2 creeps denied, so doesn't have that level 2 to be able to pressure underneath the tower. Although, you see how much, like with the Fade Bolt, it's really awkward still.
Your attempt was pathetic.
Sitting at the moment. How's this? They're actually looking like they're gonna try and pull this top wave here. I mean, just again, the Slark being the matchup versus the Batrider is super awkward, and I mean, BTS gonna try and drag it behind. It will at least allow him to deny this full wave and hopefully try and get his level 2.
Zhao's being harassed a little bit here by Rapido, but he's got the magic stick, and so he's going to be able to turn around and contest this relatively well. Still getting the stacks up of the decay. So that's me. If he wants to, he hasn't leveled up anything just yet. Might even opt to go for the pounce if he does get the right positioning. No Orb of Venom though. I think if that was the case, then this would be a very different prospect.
Yeah, how's his bot lane going? It's the Io Mars lane, so pretty nice combo with the Mars. Honestly, someone who's able to trade very well in the lane. That God's Rebuke, and with the right clicks as well, that the Io is going to just buff up thanks to the overcharge. So they're going to turn, and man, that damage. Stormhammer, Purification on top. Just going to be able to bring him down. Schem sustain, unfortunately, isn't enough there, and picks up first blood.
I know we were calling him Yowie yesterday, but apparently it's Yui. Is the way to pronounce the name there. So you can stop messaging me now, Filipino viewers.
Yui. Alright, okay. It's Natsumi. It's got a couple one charges, so
Much obliged.
chilling out. I mean, I'm still excited to really see how this game's gonna have so much aggression coming through. We saw last with Team Dog. We're taking on Vice, and we're gonna have another series where it's just the good old C Dota just kind of run him down.
Why not? It's what we love.
Matchup going for Yopaj at the moment. 13-5 compared to the 12-2. See what the Rubik's going to be able to dish out at least for the mid matchup. We've seen. I remember Signal Ultra actually. James has always been a very big fan of the Rubik mid. Has played it kind of pretty frequently actually through a lot of the Southeast Asia tournaments. So we'll see how Yopaj is going to be able to perform on this one.
Lots of unconventional stuff. I know Jamesy loves playing the mid Mars as well. So wonder if we'll ever see that come out this tournament.
Yeah, it's felt like with Mars still being incredibly popular, but no one's really put a lot of emphasis on playing him as a different role. It's just seemed pretty much set in stone as a 3, even though it still has that flexibility. This Yopaj actually might end up falling. Remnant almost drags him underneath the tower.
This is a deep dive.
He's got, I mean, the movement speed a little bit higher at the moment, and the Aether Remnant's going to be up in a couple seconds as well. And Yopaj, let's see if he runs through the choke point regardless. Gonna eat that Remnant, and Ken's also got a regen. Oh my god.
Great lineage comes to a nullifying end.
You see just literally the laughs in the chat instantly. Ken's like, oh, it couldn't go any better.
And this is not what you want as a mid Rubik. Once you get your level 3, you should be able to deal quite well with the trades just coming through with that additional Fade Bolt damage reduction for heroes and easily snipe out range creeps. But it feels like he's already lost about 2 or 3 range creeps just from denies to Ken. So pretty good victory coming out early on for Execration.
You see, might even lose that range creep. No, he just gets it, but
It was killed, but yeah, he didn't get it himself.
at least, yeah, he didn't get the last hit. There's a little bit of aggression, Natsumi. Gotta get rid of the stick here. They're all pretty low here as Zhao's in trouble. End up dropping the tombstone, but still, you see the Undying, unfortunately, unable to get rid of the sticky like the Slark. Natsumi's still going to go forward. Tomb will get dealt with, and now he's actually going to be pretty careful here from Natsumi. Brings him down relatively low. Meanwhile, mid as well. Yopaj is getting dived under the tower. Ken has already popped all the ultimate charges. The tower not going to be able to do enough to be able to bring him down, and now he's even going to TP out back towards the tier 1, recognizing that he's got the bounties to be able to refill. They might even keep top bounties as well here from BDZ.
Yeah, why not? He's more than happy to do that, and it could even result in a bit of a rotation towards this top side.
So he can
Fighting fit. Here we go.
Unfortunately, he's not showing mid at the moment. Maybe just anticipating that he's actually back in base there with the TP. So without the vision of seeing him around the high ground, Ken's going to now pop up at the top side here. BTS fallen a little bit low, but unfortunately Undying unable to get any more abilities off as Ken's going to be able to claim a killing spree 5 minutes 50 into the game. You see, this is a pretty good start for Execration. 5 kills, about 1,000 net worth lead.
At the very least, he doesn't get the next power room. That's going to go over to your on the bottom side of the river. So small victories coming through. How's the bottom side looking? RR is just keeping Yui perfectly healthy here with the use of the purification now. So level 6, he's done a good job, the Omni Knight, to make sure that he's not leeching much experience away from his Sven. He's sitting at level 3, but really, that's all you need. 1 point in the Heavenly Grace, 2 in the Purification. It's a big power spike for a support.
Yeah, and we see eventually, like, the Sven's going to be able to go back and farm up the jungle, and you can, give the lane over to maybe the Omni Knight, who can soak some experience. Maybe even the Pangolier as well has kind of got maybe a bit of an easier way to be able to deep push out. You know, Yopaj with the level 6 though, so you are able to do a lot of damage. Ken having to go up against his own Resonant Pulse. That just burst potential with a Fade Bolt level 3 and a Resonant. Really has to keep him on his toes there.
Putting a little bit of pressure here onto this tower. Yopaj, he's prioritizing that a fair amount, just with his pure right click from the double null talismans.
Rapido is trying to force out Natsumi there. I mean, at least you get the TP from Zhao. And they're going to have an extra rotation as well. The Void Spirit went back to base. Healed up. They're even going to smoke, so they want to try and move forward and get the target. Natsumi.
Be a little careful here. He's already level 6 on Rapido.
They don't get the jump from Ken, which was required for the Batrider to kind of close the distance there. Didn't try and lead him with the lasso regardless as well. So, I mean, I guess no one's taking up that mid lane at the moment while the Void Spirit had left. So you see Yopaj trying to do whatever he can to shove it in, but Smoke's going to pop. So he'll see BDZ and Noptax to try and run down to the bottom power room where he's got some help in Scam. Let's see if he's lucky enough, and he is. So he'll get the invis. There's a lot of stacks in the jungle though. If you take a look at Dire around that kind of mid-hard camp and medium.
He's going top. They want to go for a little bit of a kill here. They can see that Natsumi is looking very juicy, trying to go for the rotation around, but yeah, it's just so much burst damage in, and that'll give him his level 6 as well, so nicely done.
They're also going to end up losing the Undying there in return. So Neon get their first kill. Going to be the first perma-agi for Natsumi as well, with the rotation from the Rubik. And while still, for at least for Execration, this Ven is having such an incredible time at the moment. Just, top of the net worth, 4,600. And he's already got the Mask of Madness, working towards that Echo Saber as the next item. He's even got a goddamn talent. Like, not that it's already, not hard enough to farm on this Ven. Now you just got a little bit of extra buff.
Or the double the last hits of the Slark, by the way, just to show how good the lane stage has gone from it.
Can actually
1,600 net worth lead.
Kinesis drag back. He's got an ultimate charge available. Then he's going to show up with the double Storm Hammer. Rubik is protected with a little bit of physical thanks to the Resonant Pulse bubble there. And even Play Hard's going to show up as well. So they bring the numbers on Dire. Really looking to try and pressure, but that spear, unfortunately, not instant. So Void Spirit, a quick Astral Step's going to be able to jump away here. We do see a lot of emphasis. And Dire, they got a decent amount of vision around this mid lane as well. So it looks like they really want to try and continue pressuring this out.
Good amount of stacks though, so Natsumi should be able to catch up a little bit here. He's 2 levels behind the Sven right now, but that gap should close soon-ish. He's going into the Diffusal, so it's clear that aggression is the name of the game for Neon. Can't expect too much else from him.
It's a net worth lead that just keeps growing at the moment from Radiant. You see how they've been able to play the laning, and they're going to try and look to set up a kill up top though as Natsumi. The rotation for Ken gets the ultimate off, but unfortunately they're just kind of suffocating me in a spot where he's unable to get the leap and is out of mana as well. They'll even commit the lasso, but just securing the kill. And now this is going to be a tower push that will eventually come through from Execration.
Dire's top tower is
God Strength has expired by this point, but doesn't really matter all that much. You're just going to cut the wave here on Yui. Just leave that to the rest of the lane just to push under there. Make sure that he's not getting any of that experience. Who are they trying? Oh, they're taking the stacks. Oh, no.
They're gonna have to do something about it. These Neon, they're coming over, but without the Mars being able to close the distance, it's kind of a lot of this control and with the spear in the arena. So unfortunately, really going to be able to punish Execration as they run through the jungle and take a stack there. It does kind of force off this top push where they see if they can keep the catapult alive. Radiant have Glyph, and Bat doesn't really want to tank up the tower, so unfortunately the catapult's going to end up dying.
Have they got anything big coming out on these couriers? No, it's just a few TPs and, well, it's a buckler on the IO, but still a fair way away from picking up or getting anywhere close to the Blink Dagger on Playhard. I've been thinking that... Oh, that's not good. I was thinking maybe Scam would start tethering together onto Playhard just to give him that extra little bit of movement speed that he needs to catch, because we haven't seen an Arena of Blood just yet.
Yeah, still not dropping that ulti, which has got a pretty, you know, I mean, 90-second cooldown level 1, but it's pretty much a free kill, honestly, you know, depending on, I guess, where the Omni Knight's situated. So, unfortunately, just, lacking in that kill department is very much so making it difficult for them to hold the map control. You got to keep in mind, too, BDZ, I mean, he's also, you know, level 7 right now on top of the Pangolier, so he's been having a pretty good time just trying to play this, you know, bottom side of the map, get what little farm he can. Love how he's got the Fallen Sky queued up.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And how did he get level 7? It felt like just like a couple of minutes ago he was level 4. I guess he got the tome as well as the bonus, and the pick off on Natsumi would have helped.
Yeah, definitely. His top lane, Schem. He's got the tether if anyone's going to be able to get in range. A nice flame break, but there's the counter. Perfect lasso. Won't get stolen here, but it looks like Repeater, unfortunately, still stuck inside, unable to fly out throughout the arena. Now with the back, though, Sven trying to clean up, will get the kill on top of play hard. Xiao as well is trying to go man mode against RR, but unfortunately, Execration, they got the numbers advantage at the moment, although with this fresh golem, doing a lot of work, but it's just not enough as Neon, they're going to end up losing 4, and this game's really starting to get out of control. And this is kind of the issue with the Slark, is that the Sven can farm so goddamn fast and have so much impact with these early items, whereas Slark, you know, even with that defusal, it's still going to be pretty awkward.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to have the best defusal timing of all time beyond this, you know, make rotations through, catch RR, take him down, maybe even if it's just forcing out a Guardian Angel. That's a mini win, I suppose, but this game is even more so now on the back of Natsumi. 100 gold away from the defusal, so he's going to be able to make the rotations around, maybe try and contest the next power runes coming through.
Well, it is definitely one of his best heroes, so we'll see if he's able to play it at a very high rate.
Yopaj is getting jumped on again.
He's got the help of Sen coming over, so it looks like Ken won't really be able to offer a dive potential, but it's just like, you see the pressure that the Void Spirit's putting on at the moment. Just so much aggro. And BTS actually top lane commits Rolling Thunder because he's got the help of the Sven wrapping through near this choke point, but BTS unable to find the follow-up and the stun, and now dive. They got the reinforcements. Arena's going to get dropped, but BTS's going to be able to get out of range, and it looks like, unfortunately, Sven can he actually TP out? He does. Very nicely done there from Yui. He's going to be able to survive the 5-man rotation from Neon. Now, this is going to be able to give, I mean, some free time where, you know, Repeater can shove in, but you see mid lane as well can do a little bit of damage to the tower.
Just doing his best to keep pressured in. They just want to take as much attention away from this Sven. By the way, he is halfway towards his Axe Scepter.
Oh, God.
And he'll be level 15 around that time as well. Probably 16, actually. Smoke coming through. Take attention away. Batrider's got the boots of travel. He can join anytime he wants. And that's the name of the game. They know they don't have the Arena of Blood available. Smoke just popped, so I was surprised that Yopaj kept trying to go forward.
And now Ken, he can move in, protected by the Heavily Grace, dodges the spears now. Look at the damage coming out. This Void Spirit just styling on them inside the river. But Yopaj hasn't died just yet. Omni going to be able to get the ultimate off. Natsumi beelining it straight away to try and deal with the Omni Knight, but finally Sven's going to show up as well. Pops the God Strength. Natsumi's going to be the difficult one, but it looks like, in fact, he's going to try and turn to deal with the rest of the supports as Xia can't make it up the high ground. It's right in front of Roche if they want to try and attempt it. I mean, they've got the minus armor, the lucky shot, but instead this tier 1 tower mid is going to be a bit more of a value point here with the map control.
I'm confused. I was... How was Neon expecting to start that team fight when they still had Arena on cooldown for another 30 seconds? You know, I can understand wanting to make the rotation with your Diffusal Blade, but there's a limit to what you want to do. Like, it's not going to win you the fight on its own.
Radiant's middle tower
and now, considering the loss, that is the Axe Scepter basically completed. 40 gold away.
And maybe Dive feel a little bit pressured to make something happen. You see mid, they're kind of forcing this one out as Yopaj. They don't get the spear stun once again. BTS's going to be able to get the ultimate off. And choke point, look at the Rolling Thunder. Just stuns up all 4. Natsumi's in trouble here. He's tethered up, pops the ultimate, but they've already brought down the Mars before the follow-up and the combo inside that arena damage. And now Schem as well is going to try and attempt to relocate. Can he get away? He cannot. Ken deals with the backline. Yopaj will pay the price here. I mean, this is just a disaster. It's a 12,000 net worth lead, 16 minutes into the game. Like, what are they able to do for Neon?
Not
Dire's
much,
middle
especially
tower
now that
has
you've
fallen.
got this Ags timing, you know? I was thinking during the draft, like, they had the tools to be able
Dire's
to do
middle
it, but it
tower
just felt
is
like
under
everything
attack.
went disastrous. You know, not making the early rotations, they saw the fact that the Pangolier had made these pulls through
Dire's
to
bottom tower is
accelerate
under
the
attack.
leveling on both himself as well as the Bat Rider, and in the 2v1 situation with an Undying and a
Dire's
Slark, they just weren't
structures
aggressive
are
enough. They didn't
fortified.
get these early kills, didn't get the
Dire's
stacks of the
bottom
permanent
tower
agi,
is under
and this
attack.
Diffusal Blade just came way too late compared to what the Sven was able to achieve.
I mean, right now you just see that Neon feel,
Dire's bottom
honestly, it feels
tower
like
has fallen.
they don't know what to do with trying to attempt to force that fight before, and now with
Dire's
Lasso as
bottom
well.
tower is under
They
attack.
caught out Zhao, and I mean, he's just going to end up falling, just be just one after another. 20 kills, 2 deaths at the, and you know, I should say 20 to 2. And this is a game that is just, you know, continuing to get out of control, and you got to keep in mind this is also like Execration haven't even thought about walking into the Roche pit.
Oh man, I didn't even realize, like, Scam has been about 400 gold away from his mech for what it feels like about 5 minutes now. It has been a hard slog for him. I think that's just what they need to prioritize. Yes, they're super far behind. Yes, you might lose some objectives, but Rupido nearly finds him out. You gotta get that mech. You gotta get that Blink Dagger. And Slark, I don't think he's gonna be able to get the full S and Y by then, but something's gotta give. You gotta have some kind of item to be able to contest this pure aggression coming
Yopaj,
through.
no, not the rune bait. He doesn't even get the Arcane as well. Sven actually goes up the higher ground here. Gonna try and just turn his attention, deal with the Tombstone. Meanwhile, Natsumi as well on top of BTS, but chucks out the Rolling Thunder thanks to the help on the Omnight. Now they're gonna walk up the higher ground here. Natsumi gets the ultimate with the chain lockdown here from BTS, but it looks like it doesn't matter. Sven's just toying with everyone else and recognizing that the Slark has absolutely nowhere to go. So once he kills the supports, he can come back and get the core. As they call it quits. I mean, it's got to be done here. This is our fastest game, I think, so far of the group stages.
I think it's just a
Radiant
disconnect between
victory.
what each other needed. Perhaps, I don't want to call it selfish, but self-interested play of like, right, I've got my item, now it's ready to go. But if you don't have the support items, and I'm not even just talking about the support heroes, I'm talking about things like the Blink Dagger, things like your cooldowns that are going to make these team fights happen. Like, the game wasn't lost, even when it was like, you know, 16 to 2. They have comeback potential, but you actually have to work together, and it just felt like they were trying to make it too much of the one-man show at that point. And, you know, all it takes is a few agi stacks. Not going to be the case, though. Execration, dominant victory.
Yeah, well, I think the one big thing to kind of take away from this game is I just want to see how Neon actually go into this next draft on what they're going to prioritize. If they, you know, if they have first pick, if they're just going to pick up the Sven, or if we're just going to see the Sven taken care of if they don't have the first pick. Because now this is just another game where we see first pick Sven and you get the Omni combo, and it's like, well, it's just like, what the heck do I do? Like, you know, yes, they didn't play around, unfortunately, to the extent that they were hoping for, but, you know, letting through that combo, you know, we might see them, you know, think about changing up a couple of the bands throughout the first phase of this next game. But we're gonna take a short break, and we'll see if questions are going to be answered here in our second game, guys. So don't go anywhere. Game 2 right around the corner.